Hi and welcome to GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. Just doing a review on my new Canon lens, and it's my first ever L lens, and initial impressions is the build quality. It's fantastic, and obviously the grey colour gives it that professional look. I don't know why, it just does, doesn't it? It looks better. This is the 70-200 EF lens. It's the f4. It is the L lens, so you do get the red ring around the front, and it is made out of metal, really solid construction. The reason I went for the f4 over the f2.8 is size and weight, and with modern cameras these days, being able to push the ISO up, the f2.8 is not so important, so f4 for me is absolutely fine. The layout of the lens is just simple. You've got a nice wide zoom ring. It's very smooth. It's almost bordering on a little bit too loose, but what I've noticed it enables you to do, and bear in mind this lens is used by a lot of professionals, is if you want to very quickly go from 70 to 200, it's just bang like that, just bosh. If you're doing fine tuning, it's still okay for that, but it's really designed to get from 70 to 200 quickly, and it works a treat. The manual focusing ring at the front is lovely and damped. It feels like you're turning glass. It feels properly mechanical. It gets to the stops and then just keeps turning, but you do feel it hit the stop, and then it just carries on turning. You've got full-time manual focus override with this lens, so you can lock on to your subject and then just manually override it, which is great. Sort of makes the AF, MF, the manual focus button, pretty much redundant, and which is on this side. And then also you've got a focusing limiter switch, and all that does is instead of focusing from the minimum distance, which is 1.2 meters to infinity, it switches to 3 meters to infinity. So if your subject is more than 3 meters away, stick it to 3 meters to infinity, and it just makes the lens focus quicker because it doesn't have to go down to that range to try and lock focus. On the focus, if we just go near to far, bang, 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 bang. Really good, point to point, really nice. Noisy, you know, it's not a lens you're going to want to shoot in video with or anything. It is noisy, but it all sounds sort of nice and mechanical and chunky, and it's going to last. I mean, I don't know how old this lens is already, but it could potentially be, you know, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years old, maybe 10 years old, I don't know. But it's in absolutely mint condition. They wear well. I think you can replace these rubber bits. That's the bit that tends to wear the most and look a bit scruffy, but so it works really well. I have got a hood with it somewhere, and obviously I'd always use that when I'm out with the camera, because I don't use any sort of filters. This is the non-image stabilised version, and they do an image stabilised version, and basically it comes down to money. This one is around the £300 mark. You can pick these up for $300 to $350, and that's sort of like $400 to $500. If you want to go for the image stabilised version, which I would 100% recommend, then you are going to be looking to spend an extra couple of £100, maybe $200 to $300. But you do then obviously get about 3 stops of image stabilisation. When you put this lens on a crop sensor camera, as I've got it here on the D50, you do need to remember, when you're sort of thinking about your minimum shooting speed, 200 is the equivalent of about 200 plus, so it's just over 300mm, isn't it? So your minimum shutter speed should be 1/300th of a second. Now I would always say go up from that bit, so the nearest setting, which will be 1/500th of a second. So you've got to bear that in mind when you're shooting with this. I've shot this at 1/250th of a second, and it is a bit potluck unless you can really handhold well whether or not you're going to get a sharp shot. More often than not I wasn't getting them. So 1/500th of a second is your minimum shutter speed with this lens at the full 200mm range. So bear that in mind. If you get the image stabilised version, you can drop down, so 500 to 250th to 1/25th of a second roughly, you can pretty much get away with. So you pays your money and you take your chance. But if you're happy not having image stabilisation, it works absolutely fine. If you're going to be shooting in low light, you may run into difficulty and you have to bump your ISO up to compensate. So I'm going to throw up some pictures that I've taken with this lens yesterday, just pictures at the zoo and sort of bits and bobs, and you can judge for yourself the image quality, but I've certainly got no issues with it, and it's going to, obviously this is a 15 megapixel camera, really nice, good quality camera, comes out with lovely pictures. I'm also going to test this on the Canon 7D and see how we get on with that, and that will be coming up soon once I've got rid of this and swapped over. So watch this space for this lens on the 7D as well. So there you go, that's the Canon 70-200 f4, my first L lens. It's the USM ultrasonic motor in it. It's the bog standard. It's probably one of the cheapest you can buy. It's also probably one of the lightest and compact you can buy, especially 70-200, that you could literally use that as you know, for sports photography quite easily. Absolutely great for that, for a light, compact, carry around system. I'm really pleased with it, and yeah, I can thoroughly recommend it. The only caveat to that would be, if you really want the image stabilisation, you're going to have to pay a little bit more money and get that. I may swap this for the image stabilised version at some point, but to me, I've never really been bothered by it, to be fair. So there you go. This is GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. I'll see you soon. Bye.